Good morning, readers. Well, it is Friday morning again, and so I have a new video and a new blog post for you. Today is the release of Sandy, Breaking the Pattern. This is book number 2 in the Breaking the Pattern series. First one was Henry, and the next one comes out in a month's time, and that is Bobby. But today we're focusing on Sandy, and I brought you some other young adult reads in my blog post that you might be interested in as well. And I'm going to read to you today from chapter 4 of Sandy. So this is a little ways in, but you're still kind of finding out about who Sandy is. As afternoon drew on to evening, Sandy changed out of her spiked heels into more comfortable sandals and headed over to the mall. She did a little window shopping until she spotted Denver. She approached him in the food court as he nursed a coffee and sticky bun that had probably been cold for a couple of hours already. The smell of grease hung heavily in the air. "Sandy, it's been a while," Denver greeted. "Yeah, I know." She sat down and pulled an envelope from her purse, which she slid across the table to him. "It's getting harder to pass P-notes," she explained. "Lots of places are refusing to take hundreds, or training their staff to examine them properly." Denver shrugged. "You've got to expand your base. Be smart. Look for cashiers who are trainees, dark, busy clubs, chop shops used to running a cash business. Make bigger purchases at commission sales. You're a bright kid. Be creative." Sandy nodded. "Okay," she agreed. I'm getting pretty good at the "oh no, you've got to be kidding" act if they recognize them as counterfeit, but one of these days they won't fall for it. Then it will go on my record, and I'm going to have to get out of P-notes. Denver shrugged. "Well, we'll keep it going for as long as we can." "Okay. If you have anything more lucrative, you'll let me know." He gazed at her for a moment, then nodded. "Speaking of lucre, have you seen Chad today?" he questioned. "No. What's up?" "He said he had some kind of special proposition for you." "Special proposition?" Sandy raised her brows, intrigued. He wouldn't say what it was, but we all know Sandy's up for any new venture. Like daddy, like daughter. Sandy nodded. "I'm a good student," she agreed. "I'll see what Chad's got cooking. He should have just called me." It took Sandy a couple of days to catch up with Chad to see what he was working on. He was unusually difficult to reach, working even farther below the radar than usual. Through various acquaintances and intermediaries, she finally managed to meet up with him in a motel room on the west side. Sandy knocked on the door, and he called for her to let herself in. Sandy opened the door, standing to the side and taking a covert glance inside for any strangers or sign of a sting. She'd already checked for suspicious vehicles or watchers outside, or unusual activity in the neighboring rooms. Chad was hunched over the bureau, scribbling something down, reminding Sandy of her father, always scribbling odds or calculations on scraps of paper, making lists or mapping out new schemes. Chad looked up. "Come in, Sandy. It's clear. Don't stand around with the door open, attracting attention." Sandy stepped in and closed the door. The room was permeated with a strange, sweet smell that was familiar, but she couldn't put her finger on. "How's it going, Chad?" she greeted. "Just fine." "Hey," he frowned. "What's this I hear about you talking to the cops?" "What?" "Oh, they were just asking questions about a guy I know. They already had him in custody." "Ah, what'd they get him on?" "Serial killer, strangling girls," Sandy told him succinctly. "Eep." Chad looked a little green. Not his speed at all. "So, what are you up to?" Sandy questioned. Chad gestured to a basket in the corner on the other side of the bed. Puzzled, Sandy went over to the basket for a look. She pulled back the cover and stared at the red, scrunched-up face of a tiny baby. "Baby?" she exclaimed, picking it up and cuddling it to her chest. She was surprised, but not shocked. Some people might wonder what an entrepreneur like Chad would want a baby for, but Sandy was too experienced. She knew her dad was selling pictures of Sandy herself by the time she was a few days old. Sandy might not approve of kitty porn, but the pictures had never hurt her. She was lucky to have had someone who had loved and protected her. Other kids were not so lucky, and there were always other possibilities. other markets interested in babies. So, what do you need me for? Sandy questioned. I need a mother for her. No way, Sandy laughed. I'm not into that scene. Chad smiled thinly. His fingers fidgeted with the pencil as he looked at her. His eyes were slightly protuberant and always gave him an intense look. Not permanently, just for a meeting or two, an act. I've got a nurse taking care of her until everything's finalized. Sandy nodded. Pose as her mother for what? To hand her off to adoptive parents. Where's her real mom? Don't ask questions you don't want answers to, he advised. The birth mom is not in the picture. What do I need? ID? Documents? All the papers being handled. We just need someone to act the part. We'll maybe get you a bit of padding around the tummy. I just need someone young and innocent looking who is savvy and won't blow the con. Sandy nodded. Sure, what's it pay? Always the bottom line, eh, Sandy? 5 G's. And what if it backfires? Then you're just a kid we talked into acting a part. Maybe you thought it was a practical joke or something. You don't know anything about what's going on. But who's going to pull the plug on it? Everyone benefits. The adoptive parents get a baby, baby gets wealthy parents, we all get a bit of cash. And the real mom gets her life back, Sandy supplied. Who wants to drag a brat around all the time? Chad agreed. Sandy rocked the baby, who was starting to wake up. So, are you in? Chad questioned expectantly. Sandy shrugged. Sure, sounds like an easy score. You bet. All the work's been done. All you gotta do is show up. When? They got down to the details. At the prison, Sandy walked through the metal detector. It was all quite routine. Nice day out? Bennett questioned as he patted her down. Yeah, clear and sunny. Supposed to be nice all week. I'll have to get out and enjoy it later. Uh-huh. He finished up and took her through the next door. Sandy sat down at the table and waited. Eventually, a blond, heavy-set man in an orange jumpsuit was escorted through the door. Hi, Da, Sandy greeted. He bent down to give her a quick kiss on the cheek, against the rules, but overlooked since they otherwise followed the rules for Sandy's weekly visits. There, Sandy. And how's my girl? He queried in his thick accent. Just fine, Da, she assured him. They sat down. The CO moved over to the door and pretended not to be listening. Have you had a good week? Sandy asked. Same as usual. Did you bring cigarettes? Yeah, I checked them in already. Good. He shifted in his chair. How's business? Got some new stuff coming up next week. Looks profitable. You be careful. Always, balance the risks against the reward. Have a cover, an alibi. Cover your butt. He nodded, pleased. Good girl. You always learn your lessons. Yeah. You need anything? No. You brought cigarettes. I have everything else I need. All right, so that is from Sandy, Breaking the Pattern, launched today. So head on over to my website and pick up a copy today.